have with me the lively and frothy Jim Rogers, chairman of Rogers Holdings and Beeland Interests, joining me on a link from Singapore. Jim, good morning. This is Arnab here. What do you think the Modi government is going to do in this pre-election budget? I think their focus will be on winning the election. But what else should they be looking at?
You know as well as I do that Mr. Modi is just going to do everything he can to win the election. He's going to buy votes all over India if he can. But I'm not saying that's wrong. That's what every politician, well, it is wrong, but it's what every politician in the world does, including in America. So I don't like it about politicians. I don't like it about your politicians. I don't like it about my politicians. But unfortunately, that's the way the world works.
So, Jim, overall, if you look at the health of the Indian economy, the markets seem positive this morning. Is there much concern about the fiscal budget, fiscal deficit targets, or is that also something that is factored in? We had Ajay Bagga from Mumbai saying Mumbai is comfortable in this pre-election budget. Ajay can also be on screen with Jim. But what do you think?
Well, one day is not going to determine the health of the Indian economy or anybody's economy. Things are fine, are okay right now in much of the world. Later this year, next year, they're going to be worse. But Mr. Modi's not looking at that. He's looking at the election. He needs votes, and he knows he needs votes, and he's going to try to get them. I don't like it. I repeat, I don't like it about India or anybody. But that's the way the world is. It's not good for you. It's not good for me. It's not good for the world. So you should be worried about later this year or next year.
We have, I'll get Ajay also on the other screen, so we'll connect Singapore and Mumbai. So Ajay, I'll just be the voice in the background. You see, Ajay, we also have an astute chartered accountant as the interim finance minister. And therefore, there's much talk going on also about, off-budget financing, non-budgetary financing, which means, the Modi government will use every measure to meet the fiscal budget, fiscal target. They've surprised people every year by saying we stay resolute to the fiscal target. Whatever the shortfall is, how much off-budget financing can the chartered accountant, interim finance minister indulge in before the big election season? Because I think the Modi government will want to go out of the budget perfect, saying we did the populist moves, we gave the tax slab reliefs, and we maintained our fiscal target. Is all of this magic possible, Ajay? What do you think?
Yes, Arnab, there are a few sources that the government has been tapping into, which they will continue to. One, as you mentioned, the off-balance sheet financing, which is the quasi-sovereign public sector corporations, both in terms of them buying out the government stake by buyouts and by mergers, as well as dividends. The second big thing is RBI is sitting on excess reserves. I am expecting an interim dividend to be presented in this budget of about 40,000 crores, which is well within a comfortable level for the RBI. The third big thing is that even the farm package, people are seeing the headline number, say a 1 lakh crore package, but it will be shared with the states. It's not that the entire package will come out of the federal budget. So the impact will not be as high. But as Mr. Rogers was saying, being an election year budget, they are well within their rights to do things which will help the distressed segments and provide some relief. Yeah. The big thing is, Arnab, now 100% of the farmers are having accounts. You can directly transfer to them. Earlier, the leakage was 90%. Now 90% of the money will reach the farmer immediately. That's a huge change that has happened in the last 4 years, and that will make an impact on consumption on the ground.
Yeah. Jim said on April 1st, 2016, he said, and I don't know why you said this, Jim. Are you there? Can I have him on the screen?
I'm here. I'm here. What did I say?
Jim said, where you said something I profoundly disagree with.
Ray,
You
what did I
said
say?
that the Indian government doesn't understand economics. And the Indian government, which does not understand economics, should leave the economy and the markets alone. But Jim, India is projected to grow at 7.5%. I think the rest of the world doesn't understand economics. If there's one country which understands economics, it is India. And 7.7% in 2020, as per the IMF, and the IMF further adds that India and France are likely to surpass the UK. So India understands economics, the UK doesn't understand economics or Brexit. And we are knocking it to the 5th position in the global table. So were your concerns overstated, or has Narendra Modi, surpassed your expectations?
First of all, I should hasten to tell you that I'm not an advocate of the English government. They have done a horrible job. They have run up staggering debts, as has India. Sure, if you give me $1 billion US, I'll show you a very good time. The Indians keep running up debt. I mean, I know that we're going to have problems. In 2008, the world had a huge problem because of too much debt. Since then, the debt has gone up many times.
One second. You also said, sorry, Jim, I take issue with you. Sorry to interrupt you there. But you also said, I'm sure India will have less foreign investment. But consider the fact, at present, the Reserve Bank of India is looking at an FDI of 2.8 million crores. That's 28,24,600 crores in fiscal year 2018, which, Jim, is an 18% leap from 2017. Which country on planet Earth does that?
Well, if the numbers are accurate, it's very, very impressive. Somebody's putting money into India. I'm not that person. I know that the debt is going up in India, but not just India. England, you mentioned England. England's debt is skyrocketing.
To make a point on debt.
Even China now has a lot of debt. We're going to pay the price for this someday. We're all having a good time right now. But when the piper comes in, it's not going to be fun.
Okay, now we are getting, Jim, we are in the middle of a political controversy. 1 minute.